Big Lap Bible. We're Taylor and Wyatt from oswm.oz and we're here to answer some questions for you today.
Alrighty guys, so the first one off the bat is why did we decide to do the Big Lap? For both of us, it's something we grew up with in our childhood. Our families took us away a lot of camping trips, a lot of travelling. We spent a lot of time going around South Australia. You came from interstate as well, so you did some interstate stuff as well. We bought a Troopy 2 years ago, and since then we've just been going out and getting out on weekends as much as we can. We then decided that this is the life that we sort of want to do, so we started making that a bit of a reality.
Once you start, you get a bit hooked.
Yeah.
So we are currently North Stradbroke Island in Queensland. So we have done Victoria and New South Wales so far on our trip, but we cruised through pretty quickly through there. But yeah, Stradbroke Island, so we'll show you our setup currently and what it looks like here. It's beautiful.
Basically, behind us, it's very small, understandably. But yeah, so Toyota Land Cruiser troop carrier. What we've done is we've got a pop top conversion done on it. So they cut off the roof and put on a pop top, so like an old camper style. It means that we can stand up in the whole car and walk through it, and we also have a elevated bed up the top.
We'll give you a little tour after.
Yeah, it's basically our own little living area, so it's great.
Where do we generally stay? So we try to free camp as much as possible. We love camping, even though we're camping in a car, but we love camping, we love that vibe. We love anything that's free because you have a lot of expenses living on the road and accommodation can be quite hefty. But if we do stay in places, we stay in a few national parks, so that's an expense. Caravan parks, things like that. We've done a hip camp, but mostly free camps, sometimes some roadside stops, just whatever we can find.
It's not always glamorous, but yeah. We try free camp as much as possible. This is probably hands down going to have to be in the Flinders Ranges. Probably about a year ago when we went there for about third trip because we love it there. It's a little station called, it was not little, it's huge. It's called Ediawi. It's on the, what would you call that, the western side of the Wilpena Pound and the Ranges, and it basically, there's only 5 sites there, so you do have to pre-book. It's not very well known, but it overlooks the whole ranges, and the sunsets there are absolutely stunning. There's hikes to do around there. The long drop is the best long drop you will get in Australia.
Showers.
It's got the best view you can ever think of. But yeah, really beautiful, and the people that own it are lovely as well.
Yeah, it did cost, but I can't remember what the price was, but it wasn't expensive.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't expensive. This leads to where is the best place we've been. Again, Flinders Ranges. So yeah, we're from South Australia, a little bit biased, but Flinders Ranges is probably the best place we've been to. We've done multiple trips there. We've stayed in parts where you can have dogs, and other parts we have, been in the national park where you can't have dogs, but Flinders Ranges is probably our best at the moment.
I think a lot of interstate people actually agree with that one as well. Well, that's a tough one because we're so new into our lap at the moment.
So everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere that we haven't been at the moment. Pretty much we are so excited for heading into northern Queensland, obviously, but what we're really keen for is northern Western Australia and the Northern Territory.
Yeah.
So we'll be there in probably about a year's time. We're going to take our time and sort of head down to the west of WA first, and then head our way back up. But the national parks and everything around that area, there's just so much to do, and everything's so beautiful. The ancient history that's there, we are absolutely stoked. So we'll probably spend 5 or 6 months up in that area.
Yeah. I mentioned dog-friendly places earlier. So yes, we have 2 border collies named Loki and Akila. It was never any doubt that they would be coming with us. So it does restrict you a bit having pets, especially because they are bigger dogs. But there's a lot of dog-friendly places out there. There's a lot of places that accept dogs if they're a certain weight, like little dogs, so it can get a little bit tricky. We haven't really struggled much on the east coast. It's a bit harder to find dog-friendly spots, but if we're going somewhere where we can't have dogs, we use the Mad Paws app to find a sitter, or we pop them in a kennel and they've been fine, so yeah.
One of the scariest points being on the road so far is probably when we were in the Blue Mountains. We did this hike that wasn't as well known. We only probably passed 2 or 3 people when we were on it. It goes for how many hours? A couple of hours.
Yeah, 10, 11 Ks I think all up.
Yeah, but it's called Hanging Rock, and as it sounds, it's a hanging rock.
Very high up rock.
So you actually have to jump over a gap that's probably about 2 meters wide, and it's got a massive sheer drop down to certain doom.
Yeah.
Taylor just
I wouldn't say 2 meters.
Yeah.
It's a big gap that you have to jump over.
It felt like it.
Yeah, it felt like 2 meters, but yeah.
Taylor's just had an ACL reconstruction as well, so trying to get through that gap was probably the biggest test of her leg at that point, and it was just a whole lot of nerves in between both of us before we were doing that.
If you fall, you die. So yeah, that was pretty scary, but it was funny afterwards. It's not so much an item but a part of the car. It would have to be our awning. So we did a bit of looking around before we bought our awning. We're so happy with this one. So it's a 30-second awning, and it literally takes 30 seconds to set up, maybe 60 to pack up. But it's so easy to set up. It's can be freestanding. It does have poles with it, but you don't have to have them in there. But honestly, this just adds a whole different element to our setup. Gives us a bit of privacy, a bit of shade.
Creates more of a homely feel too.
Yeah, definitely. We've got the walls for it as well, so it's kind of like an annex. But yeah, hands down, probably our favourite.
Yep. Alright, so the big thing that everybody sort of wants to know is how people like us fund the big lap. For us, once we decided we wanted to do this, we spent 2 years saving our absolute butts off, not thinking about anything else apart from saving for this trip. So we saved up as much as we could for that. Aside from that, I'm a restaurant owner, so I've got part shares in a restaurant still. That does supply some sort of income every now and again. But we also have our own clothing business as well.
We're both wearing it. So yeah, this is our business that we started a year ago. So that's also, we get a little bit of money coming in from that.
Yep. So it's basically designed to, with a focus on sustainability and ethical processes. And it's also designed for people like us who like doing like what we're doing. So adventure, travel, all those sort of things. All of our shirts and clothing is inspired with that in mind. So we hope to,
so most people can probably agree fuel is the biggest expense. We try to spend about $650 a week, but at the moment the price of fuel is, we're not really hitting that every week.
No.
And we've also had some car repairs, things like that, which you do need to be mindful about. If you are on the road, you're going to have some unexpected car costs, especially our car is a 2003 model and it's done over 400,000 Ks. So
things are going to start going wrong.
Yes, but around $650 a week is the aim.
Yep. How undog friendly the East Coast is, we've found this a bit of a struggle. Now we're getting into Queensland, it seems to be a bit better, but especially across New South Wales, there's not a lot of places that allow dogs, even beaches just for daytime, anything like that. So it really does make it hard trying to find places to stay. So that's why, part of the reason why we went inland for New South Wales, that and because of the rain. School holidays and weekends are the worst time. We've quickly found that.
Yeah. We made one mistake of setting up camp on a Saturday and it was just so packed we couldn't get anywhere, so always bunker down on a Friday, early on a Friday, and school holidays try and hide somewhere as well.
Yep.
All of it really. No, there's goods and bads obviously. One of the best things obviously is the places that we get to see. Like we're 2 months into our lap and we have seen some incredible places already. The people that you meet, we've met some amazing people, like-minded people. That's one of the best parts. And also another good part is being away from people. So you get your own space, you get to enjoy things by yourself, and it's nice to be away from people at times as well.
Sounds rude, but it's not. We haven't really had any big splurges. The biggest cost for us was the cost of converting our Troopy into a pop shop Troopy. That set us back $13,000, which included engineering and everything like that, so it was legal on the road. But we wouldn't have had it any other way. We just get so much room, especially having both the dogs. We get to sleep up the top, they get to sleep down the bottom, and we got so much room, so would not regret spending that money any time. I guess any other splurges, we're going to have to wait until we get further into the trip. Once we get up north, I assume we're going to be doing some helicopter rides and boat tours and stuff like that. And some nice dinners, maybe.
Maybe, hopefully. The one thing that we can think of would probably be our portable solar panel. So it's quite a big, bulky solar panel. We've got one on the roof and obviously the portable one, but because we've been traveling so fast, we're always driving and always getting charged to the battery, and we only ever stay somewhere for a day or so. Solar panel is definitely something we're going to use a lot as we get further into the trip, and we're sort of set up somewhere for a few days, but that's probably the only thing that we haven't used as much as we thought we would.
We weren't at all, so we weren't travelling yet.
Nah, we're in the best state, South Australia.
The only thing we have found is obviously, and everyone can attest to this, there is so many people out at the moment. Camping has just become huge again at the moment. But pick your timing, avoid school holidays, those sort of things, and you can still have a really enjoyable time.
And finally, what is our biggest tip to other travellers or other people who are wanting to do the big lap? So we've got a few tips. One would be, don't just stick to the coast and the most known routes. You need to kind of go off on your own. There's so much to do and see inland, so definitely get out there and explore. We use WikiCamps, which is a really great app for finding not only accommodation but other day use areas, other points of interest. So have a look around at where you are. If you're travelling somewhere, look at what's on the way and stop in. You don't know what you're going to miss if you don't get out and have a look. Yeah, what would you say?
Instagram, probably one of the biggest tools out there at the moment. There's so much inspiration that you can draw from other people, places they've been. So we tend to set our to-do list sort of up in folders of states and regions. So if we see a beautiful photo or something that we go, yeah, I want to go there, we'll save that and lock it down into our little folder, and then we can sort of plan a route based on what we've seen and what we want to see. So yeah, one of your biggest tools.
Definitely.
Other thing would be travel blogs. There's so many out there, but look at them. Again, Instagram, lots of people have travel blogs in their bios and stuff like that.
Use other people for inspiration as much as you can.
And talk to locals as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Not always possible, but you always get some nice hidden spots.
And slow down and enjoy it.
Thanks guys.
So this is our home on wheels. We've obviously got everything we need to live all in here. So we've got fridge, freezer here. This is our travel oven, cabinetry that we've made ourselves. We've got a sink up top. Obviously everything that we need goes in the cabinetry. So we've got clothes in here, dog stuff, games, toiletries, cleaning stuff, cooking stuff, everything. A seat here, which at night time we put a board in the middle and that becomes the dog's bed. So in here we've just got a few more things like utensils, crockery, bit of pantry space. So in the daytime we have it like this, we can stand up, and at night time pull this down and we've got our bed.
Alright guys, so one thing we said we couldn't live without is the awning. So easy and creates our own little living area. When we want walls, we chuck them up on both of these sides. So really good when we want to use our outdoor shower as well. So we've got that there if we need it. We've got 40 litres of drinking water underneath and water on the back as well. Really cool handy table, and it mounts our MAXTRAX on the side. Our kitchen's a simple pull-out kitchen, comes out the car, which is easy as. That's about as sophisticated as it is.